It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, the King Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I got to see my most favorite franchise in the universe, on planet Earth, in the multiverse, in any kind of verse you could talk about or think about. I got to watch my most favorite franchise. And I'm talking about the one and only Bimil Scotty, Earl Grey Hot, Live Long and Prosper. I'm talking about the one and only Star Trek. And I'm going to get into that, but first, couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Spain, España. Got some plays for Spain this past week. Gracias, gratitude, toda. In Spain, I've heard it is extremely hot over there right now. Very hot, so stay cool if you can. Heat can be brutal. Just stay cool, please. So thanks to Alyssa, appreciate you guys' gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the song called Rabbit Holes of Thought by the one and only Jay Cortez, me, and Sun Tzu Cosmic. We got together, we dropped a phenomenal, interesting, spacey, sci-fi track. I guarantee you never heard anything like it in your life. So if you want to hear the track called Rabbit Holes of Thought, I will put the link below. Check it out now. Let's get to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's episode of Strange New Worlds explores what is Starfleet. That's it. It's done in documentary style, and this documentary follows a crew with their missions and explores, what's the difference between a warship and a starship, right? It's a subtle, very gray area sometimes. Now, if you've explored the world of language like I have, you will come to find that sometimes terminologies are interchangeable, right? So some people might say, oh, it's a warship, it's a starship, Starfleet is evil, some is not bad. Right? There's all these thoughts about it, right? Because generally when you have like big organizations or groups, a lot of times there is war that comes with it. And Starfleet is no different. But they are different. Because Starfleet was set up with certain values, morals, and principles. And they live by these things. And these values, morals, and principles were created and constructed a way to be beneficial to all beings that Starfleet encounters and themselves. Now, sometimes it gets a little wild, out of control, a little violent. Yes, it does. And they explore that in this episode. But some of the dirty, dark areas of Starfleet, they don't go hard at it, but they go there a little bit. And if you've seen Star Trek over the last 30, 40 years, whatever years, 50 years, sometimes the situations get very challenging where you might have to make a choice that is definitely not the one that you'd want to make. Sometimes you got to make the best choices of bad choices. And this is the life of Starfleet. And one additional thing too, they do explore following orders, following direction. Now, if you are in any kind of organization, it could be military, it could be, your job, there is basically a hierarchy of how that operates. And a lot of times, being at the low end of it, you kind of just got to follow orders, for lack of a better term. Now, whether you agree with them or not, sometimes you just got to do that. And in this show, they explore that. Sometimes the protocol is you just have to follow them. And you may not like the decisions. Now, even bring it to the private sector with jobs. You may work a job, and you may not like the choices the management makes. You've been part of the job for a long time. You know how it works. You can see these managers make certain decisions I don't like that. And sometimes it happens, but sometimes you have to just know your role. I was talking to my girl this week, and we're just saying, sometimes you gotta know your role, right? You just gotta know your place. Now, I know it's sad to say, and you should be able to speak up, and you will speak up at certain times. Sometimes you just have to speak up, but sometimes you just gotta shut your mouth. Let's be real about it. If you were meant to call shots, you would already be doing that. Sometimes you just have to follow the directions. Now, additionally, Starfleet or job, whatever you're talking about, you have the freedom to just leave if you don't like what they're going with it. Now, since I've been alive for quite some time, and I've seen organizations evolve over time. We're talking governmental organizations, we're talking businesses, we're talking clubs, any kind of organization you can think of. Whereas a lot of groups of people together that live by a certain code or values or morals, that is basically an organization, whatever they may be. And I've seen these different groups and organizations over the years just evolve and change over time. And honestly, they've had core values and beliefs in the past, and they've shifted and changed. This is the nature of groups. Now, if you are part of Starfleet or any other group and they change what you don't just get out and leave, straight up. Now, if you go back to the series Picard, we saw that Beverly Crusher chose to leave Starfleet. And I can't remember specifically what it was, but she just left it. She said, that's the line with me, I think what it was. She just left Starfleet. That's your choice. But in this episode, they do get to show them at their best, going through the hard choices and making those choices, right? Now, I said last week's episode, we are the captain of our own ship. We are the captain of our body, our life, right? And this is true. You're going to navigate your life and you will have to make choices. You're going to have to live with them. He said in this week's episode and last week's, right? The choices you make, sometimes payment is due for those choices, like straight up, whatever they might be. What you eat, what you assume, what you take, what you buy, whatever. And sometimes you make the wrong call, you gonna have to pay the piper. I've paid the piper many times and I don't like it. So I make it a point to work better, making better choices up front before I choose them. Now, in this situation with Starfleet, they have to follow the directions of Pike, which comes from up top, and they just have to go with it. So all you really can do in that scenario, in my opinion, is just be the best you can be at your position and just do that, right? You have to let the shot callers do the thing. And if you disagree, you can file a complaint, you can leave, whatever, right? But in this episode, I feel it's heavy on following protocol, right? That's how the structure stays dated. Now, I've had a lot of debates with a young man recently who really is not a fan of a lot of structures that we have in our society. A lot of the basic structures that have been in existence for a long time that I've been aware of, he seems to think are just corrupt, right? Now, is there an aspect of these organizations that are? Yes, there probably is, right? I feel this institutions we currently have in society, globally, are fine institutions. They need some tweaking, yes, they do. But if you rewind the clock thousands of years ago, 100 years ago, I mean, it was a mess. If you think the globe is a mess now, imagine 100 years ago, 2,000 years ago. I mean, it's just like the wild, wild west jungle, whatever. We have it pretty safe compared to 100 years ago, 20 years, 1,000 years ago. It was just a mess, it's dangerous, crazy. But anyways, to bring it back to Star Trek, Starfleet, basically this is just kind of showing what Starfleet looks like organizationally, the choice we made, the orders, how their jobs, how people feel about it. And generally, at the end of the episode, we hear the guy doing the documentary ask Uhura, what makes up Starfleet? And she said, it's the people. Now, this is absolutely true in my reality. Every job or organization I've been a part of, it is the people that make it up. And I've told this to many people, right? Whatever organization you belong to, when people see you with a name tag and a badge or whatever logo you got on, you are the representative of that group, that company, whatever it may be, right? Logo on, you work for them professionally, you are them basically. It's not the name, obviously the name is that, right? But you, the person, make that up. So yeah, you are the company. This is spot on assessment. Starfleet, military, jobs, whatever you talk about. The people make it up. Now, one additional thing, kind of side note, every job I've been at, the jobs are never hard. The actual job, what you do, easy. The things that either make it great or difficult are the people that you work with. This is my experience as a 49-year-old man. I made jobs some like better than others. And the reason that is because the people, bro. People are cool, job is cool. People are not cool, job sucks. Got nothing to do with the work. I've done tons of work, sweated, got cold, on my feet all day, physical activity, doesn't matter. Mental work, computer work, I've done it all, bro. It's not even that. It's just the human beings, bro. Are they sucking your energy or are they giving it to you? Now in Star Trek, Starfleet world, I can imagine if you're in a bridge with just a bad crew, your ship will just be a horrible place to be at. But fortunately, in all the Star Trek world, almost every crew you've ever seen on any ship in the world of Star Trek has been phenomenal. Great relationships, they're efficient, they get things done. Now, I'm sure there are some ships in the world of Star Trek that the crew is not that great. And probably more alien worlds than anything else. But sure, there's some in Starfleet that suck as well. But anyways, this episode is phenomenal. And it really just looks at structures of groups and organizations to me. And how they work, and how they're efficient, and how they don't work, and the negatives and positives. But overall, I'll say Uhura's statement is facts. It's the lesson of the show. If you didn't learn anything else, the people make up Starfleet. The people make up the organization. If the people are dope, the people are cool, then the organization will be cool. So if you are in an organization or group or job or whatever, and the people are cool, stick with it because you are at a good company. You got good people around you. So anyways, this episode is phenomenal. You get to see the crew make hard choices, do stuff they don't necessarily want to do. And just do it because that's their job, their duty, and they're trained to do what they're supposed to do, even though they may not like it sometimes. And good for them, because sometimes that is what you have to do in an organization and in real life. So anyways, Star Trek is still phenomenal. I love it. Greatest show on TV right now and all the time. And this completes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see. We must be willing to get rid of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.